In this video, we're going to give you the lowdown on Assassin's Creed Valhalla's 1.2.0 update coming on the morning of March 16th, 2021. It's a massive update, but it's not going to include Wrath of the Druids. We're going to give you the whole scoop here. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel, where we give you the secrets to crush Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So we're going to get a new festival starting on March the 18th, the Ostara Festival. There's some Easter egg hunts mentioned. There's going to be a new armor set and some weapons, I believe. And we're also going to get the transmog, so you can change the stats but keep the appearance of different items. So you can swap the stats of different items in your inventory, but you have to go to Gunnar, the blacksmith in your settlement, to do that, and yet I think you have to pay him 50 silver a piece. So I think it's better than nothing. It's, some people are upset though, because it's going to cost, and you also have to go to the blacksmith. You can't do it yourself. I just basically use the stuff as skins anyways, so I don't really think it matters that much. But it might matter some, and for that it would be worth the silver. The other thing is we're going to get 3 new skills, and we're also going to get a different photo view zoomed in of the game if you so choose it. So the game will be more zoomed in, but it'll zoom out to what you're used to for combat. All right, so let's look at the press release and break all this down. Overall, it seems at the moment like it's going to be positive. Hopefully it's not going to be the buggy mess that the Yule Festival was. They also do indicate that they're going to maintain the river raids. I was a bit worried that the river raids are going to go by the wayside, but they are very much going to stay. So that's good, even though nobody's playing them anymore because there's no reason to play them. There is also some vague language in the press release which indicates that they may be tamping down on the clipping that a bunch of us did for the dev room box glitch. But also, a bunch of people following this channel were able to obtain Odin's Spear Gugnir by clipping through walls, and I'm wondering if they're going to nerf that in this update. The other thing I think you should be really worried about them nerfing is the beggar raven glitch. So if you don't have a big silver reserve going into the update, it might be worth it to turn off the internet for a little bit and farm those chain fury runes in London from those 3 beggars for something like 50,000 silver per hour. Totally worth it. Okay, let's look at the press release. All right, March 15, 2021, Assassin's Creed Valhalla title update 1.20. Title update 1.20 will be updated on Xbox Series XS, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Ubisoft Connect, Epic Games Store, Stadia, and Amazon Luna tomorrow on March 16th, 2021. So the patch size is 18 gigabytes for XS, Xbox One 13 gigabytes, 12.3 gigabytes for the PlayStation 5, 12.6 for the PlayStation 4, and 15.9 for the PC. So those Xbox sizes are the biggest, it seems like, but it's a pretty big update, a lot bigger than we expected. We were expecting 8 from PlayStation game size. It's definitely bigger than 8 on all the platforms. So it's going to be 1 p.m. Central European Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So 8 a.m. on the 16th, it's going to go live in the U.S., or 5 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on the West Coast of the U.S., and 11 p.m. Australian Daylight Time, Eastern Daylight Time. I think that's on the 15th. Or actually, they're a day ahead, so the 7th. No, same day, 16th. So they're ahead of us. Anyways, so bright and early in the morning on the 16th, it's going to go live. So if you've got some farming you want to do, like say the beggar raven glitch, you better turn off your console or your computer's internet, because it's going to update. And then We want to see the changes below. They're going to have the Ostara Festival. We added in-game support for the Ostara Festival. The Ostara Festival will be available from March 18th through April 8th and will feature a bloomy Ravensthorpe, some unique side activities such as egg hunts and special rewards. Now, there was an egg hunt as a mystery, but it was viper eggs, so I wonder if we hunt viper eggs. Hopefully it's not as smelly as the other one. We'll provide more details about the Ostara season content in the first look article coming March 18th. Okay, so we get another press release to look forward to, I guess. We changed the appearance, aka transmog, to the game. Change your gear and weapon appearance in the same category of items at Gunner's Blacksmith and Ravensthorpe for 50 silver. This piece was already exceptionally beautiful, but if there's anyone who could improve it, it's me. Quote, Gunner. Changed items will be marked with a star in the inventory. Okay, sounds good. I don't know. I think some people were like, Joraptor was clamoring for this, but, I personally don't think that transmog's going to make such a difference because there's so little difference between the armor sets and the weapon sets. I think you would do it for, like, if you got a new item that you really liked but you didn't have the titanium to upgrade it, then I would do a transmog for that. So I think transmog would be more beneficial to low-level players than high-level players. With high-level players, it doesn't really matter that much if you have all the titanium to upgrade those, because I think you're going to do pretty fine anyways, as long as you got it up to the mythical level, and it's pretty easy to get stuff up to the mythical level. So, I don't know if I'm going to do a lot of it, but, if they don't nerf as many things as they have been nerfing, then maybe it'll be better. I don't know. Okay, so they're going to add some new skills. So I think we're going to go from 406 is the maximum skill points to 409. Right? I think I got like 50, 60 something these mastery points. So I think I should go up to 409 more or less automatically. We got Fearless Leaper. When activated, the leap attack damage has a larger area of effect and can be done at any height. Raven's Loot. Your Raven gathers loot from targets killed with ranged attacks. Now, I've never used the Raven as a attack, but I do have that ability somewhere. I just need to equip it. Loot Food. Eivor has a higher chance of looting food from dead bodies. Well, I don't recall him ever looting any food from dead bodies, so that's a new one. He does get like that moldy bread and stuff, but that's not actually food. That's junk items that you sell. So I don't know. Is he going to get more junk items, or is he going to get actual food? That would be new. And then there's a closed camera option. We added a closed camera option to the game. Once toggled, it will achieve a closer camera during regular gameplay. The camera will zoom out during combat encounters. The option can be toggled in the gameplay menu. So maybe it's not a automatic. I guess that'll be interesting to see what that looks like. Game improvements, miscellaneous. There will be more cats throughout England. The best clutter. Okay, that sounds good. Foxes will no longer spawn inside of Lunden. That sounds good. That was a little weird having the foxes in London. Go fox hunting in London. Address an issue downgrade Ubisoft Connect rewards, Spartan Bow, and Moonlight Axe. So that was the glitch, I think, that Joraptor was talking about. I never got those because I ended up getting the bird, the white raven, and like Biax outfit and all that other stuff. So I don't know, maybe transmogging Biax outfit would be cool. So if you have a fully upgraded stuff, you transmog Biax outfit. Although you still only get to slot one rune. Although I think Joraptor was making the case the runes are nerfed anyways, so maybe it doesn't matter. Small boats will now catch fire when throwing torches at them. Oh, that's fun. I don't think we have any naval battles really, but that could be fun just to terrorize the populace. Address issue that caused Scaldy's Blade perk to remain inactive when conditions are met. I don't know what Scaldy's Blade is. Addressed an issue that caused the Boar Master's melee attack not to build up fire damage on the player. Addressed an issue that caused Petra's Arc perk to remain inactive above 90% HP. Addressed an issue that caused the Huntsman rune to be activated when conditions are not met. Addressed an issue that allowed players to break the heavy runic attack of Kyoti with light attacks during the third phase. Okay. And addressed an issue that prevented guaranteed assassination from working and reduced damage dealt after requiring the shoulder bash ability. Now, I thought that was fixed in the hotfix, so I don't understand why that would be fixed here. That was already fixed in the hotfix between 1.2 and 1.20, but maybe they just wanted to put that in here so it's like for the record it's been fixed, because it definitely was fixed on my end. Quests, world events, and side activities. Address an issue in the absence of the alderman that prevented players from completing the quest when the brooch was already collected. Everyone liked that. So these are kind of the game breaker glitches if you were a victim of them. Address an issue in absence of an alderman that prevented a cutscene from playing. Addressed an issue in clues and riddles that prevented players from completing the quest as it does not validate after the ritual. Addressed an issue in the demon odor at the tide that prevented the NPC from spawning. Addressed an issue in bleeding the leech that caused the NPC to remain stuck in a defeated state. Addressed an issue in raising Earning Stone due to Galen not speaking. Addressed an issue in Brother's Keeper that prevented cutscene from playing. Addressed an issue in Glory Regained that prevented players from proceeding with the quest. Addressed an issue in Island of Eels that prevented players from completing the quest as it was moved to completed quest. Put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. I mean, I find the quest directions really sparse. Usually, though, since the main quests are so basic in their progression, that it's usually okay. But boy, if you're getting into the mysteries, it's just like not really sure what we're doing here. Addressed an issue that prevented players from pledging to any region on the Alliance map. Addressed an issue in Pilgrimage to St. Albans that prevented players from talking to the NPC. Addressed an issue in the Lamb Chops world event where players could not even complete the event if Merrick died. So we got quite a long list of these story problems. Addressed an issue in Wise Friend where Ranvi would not appear outside the Longhouse. Addressed an issue that prevented players from completing the Asgard arc after completing Binding Fate. Okay. Addressed an issue in the Pilgrimage to St. Albans where Bierston could get stuck, preventing players from completing the quest. Addressed an issue in Dreams that prevented players from completing the potion to return the Asgard objective. You know, I'm not sure if I did complete Asgard. Did I see I'm not sure if I have seen the Ragnarok, the mythical Ragnarok. I think I did, though. It'd be worthwhile to go back to that, though. Addressed an issue in Crushed Dreams world event that caused his wife to be dead. Addressed an issue in the Honor has two edges that prevented players from interacting with Faravid at the camp. Addressed an issue in Daedalus the Beautiful world event that Daedalus not leaving the water. Addressed an issue in the Sword of St. George that prevented the quest from updating after killing the champion and not being acquired. Addressed an issue that prevented Cordelia boss fight from not starting. Addressed an issue that caused Ivishar wealth to disappear after completing Honor has two edges. Addressed an issue that prevented players from interacting with Idis after assigning the Jomsviking. Addressed an issue where Reap What Was Sown caused Sigurd to clap one hand next to Uba. Addressed an issue that in an extended family that allowed the boss to jump over the arena and not be defeated as a result. Addressed an issue in the well-traveled that caused players to be stuck with interacting the reflector. Addressed an issue in the walls at Templeborough that prevented players from talking to Sigurd. Addressed an issue that caused man-eating animal contract to be missing a quest objective. Addressed an issue that results in Kyote not taking damage using the hidden blade. Addressed an issue in an efficient cremation that prevented the world event from completing when the man was killed for the first time after burning bodies. Addressed an issue that caused the aim to snap away during the builder boss fight using K and M. Addressed an issue that prevented players from completing the partner's tale as the NPC is missing. Addressed an issue in Glory Regained that prevented players from proceeding with the quest after regroup with Soma's objective. Addressed an issue in the Road to Hamarata that caused Halfdan not to follow the player. Addressed an issue that prevented players from pledging Nottinghamshire and Hamptonshire as both options were grayed out. Addressed an issue that prevented the players from collecting the Book of Knowledge in Oxenfordshire. Addressed an issue that prevented players from confirming the kill against Thor the Fishmonger. Addressed an issue that prevented the Order member Bensek of Bath from spawning. Addressed an issue that caused the legendary animals to spawn outside a playable area. Addressed an issue that caused Ranvi not to cross the bridge exiting the settlement. It seems the wind calls her to the other side. Addressed an issue that prevented players from interacting with one of the 3 keys needed for Jorvik Wealth Chest after explosive corpse on the body. Addressed an issue that caused Sutinger to be missing weak points in Phase 2 of the fight. Addressed an issue when the stone falls that prevented the quest from being completed if the player travels during the quest. Addressed an issue that prevented players from completing Edmund's arrow as the NPC is missing. Addressed an issue that caused the section of Asgard's intro to be missing. Okay, and then for graphics, the graphics fixes address various graphics, lighting, and texture issues. Address various clipping issues. Oh, now, I think that's interesting. Address various clipping issues, right? So, we've been clipping through walls and the ground like madmen ever since the DevBox room glitch. And we've also been clipping, I've been teaching people how to clip through and get Odin's spear in the final region in Norway, and you can get that as early as level 13. So I'll be interested to see if they'll let you continue to clip through. Address an issue, or if they've been able to fix that. Address various character or NPC animation issues, which also could be related to that. Address an issue that allowed players to unequip a weapon mid-animation, causing animation issues. See, now they're going back to that. You didn't have to unequip mid-animation, but still. Addressed an issue that caused an impact on character details settings when world graphics settings were adjusted. Addressed an issue that caused the game not to restart after resetting graphics mode. Addressed an issue where guards wouldn't recheck already investigated hidden spots when Aver whistles from them. River raids. Addressed various river raids UI HUD issues. Addressed placement issue with raid location descriptions using Arabic interface. Addressed an issue that prevented River Raids content being accessible after the Jomsviking Hall was built. Addressed an issue that caused an objective to be missing after building the Jomsviking. Addressed an issue that prevented players from reviving Jomsviking with M and K. I don't know what M and K is. Vaughn will now randomly have dialogue during the River Raids. Leans back. Addressed an issue that prevented river barricades to trigger. Addressed an issue that caused River Raids completion on Vaughn's map to be inaccurate. I have found that to be true. Addressed some instances of issues with mass behaviors in specific ship hiding spots. Addressed an issue on the River D that resulted in the River Champion to be missing. Oh my. Addressed an issue that caused the Sword of St. George quest to be missing as an objective. Addressed an issue that sometimes prevented the end raid quick action from working. Addressed an issue that caused the objective of the River raid to be missing from the UI. Addressed an issue that allowed rivers to have more raid chests than keys. Addressed an issue that caused naval chains to not regenerate when the player returns to the river. Addressed an issue that caused the character's showcase to not upgrade when assigning the Viking to the crew. Addressed an issue that allowed players to seemingly trigger a raid on the boat and once again on land when Vikings are dead. Addressed an issue that prevented players from using rations after completing all the raid quests. The rations thing was really weird. That you would lose all your rations when you started the river raid and lose them when you come back. And you couldn't keep those rations. You started new with all the rations with each raid. I don't know if that was intended, if that fixes that. I don't know. Because I thought they did that just to make it harder. Addressed an issue that caused Vikings waiting to be hired to have a different rank in the hall than intended. So that's weird too. So are all your Vikings going to be level 3? Are all of them going to be level 1? Do you have to level them up, or can you buy the level 3 Vikings? I don't know. I have no idea. Addressed an issue that sometimes prevented the river alert to be displayed when returning to Longship if the alert level increased. Addressed an issue that would cause the map clue not to be marked as collected on the River X map. Addressed an issue that caused Vikings to die while they're currently being revived. Addressed an issue that prevented the celebration scene to appear when completing the raid the second time. Addressed an issue that could see the player spawn into a river raid without their longship. Okay, I have not seen that. Addressed an issue that resulted in a raid not being completed upon gathering all cargoes from the Severn outpost. Addressed an issue that prevented Vikings to open the door in Irbenstock, the River D, after unlocking to loot the chest. Addressed an issue that caused the mass not to be lowered if all Vikings are dead. Addressed various issues where the player could get stuck. Addressed an issue that prevented players from progressing with the river raids when bringing clues to Vaughn and then reloading the first autosave. Addressed an issue that prevented players from returning to the settlement if any settlement content option applied to the river. Addressed an issue on the River D that caused icons for chests and cargoes to be missing from the compass. I don't think we got icons for any of those things. I think the only icons I saw were for the abilities. Gameplay, combat, and AI. Address various NPC behavior issues. Address an issue that caused Eivor to continue spinning longer than intended when using the Danax special attack. Address an issue that caused enemies to wake up right away when they are being hit with a second sleep dart while sleeping. I'm not aware there were sleep darts in this game. Address an issue that caused Hidden Blade to be missing from Eivor. Not working, Kiwi. Address an issue that caused strange physics when throwing explosive pots. Address an issue that resulted in the disguise speed to be limited using the keyboard input. Address an issue that caused Eivor to moonwalk when mounting a horse that's approaching from behind the player. Okay. Address an issue that caused the players to obtain Nodin's Arc through the save load action. I thought they already fixed that, so they had not patched that already? Huh. Okay. Addressed an issue that caused the player to so you get Nodin's Arc by at sunset hitting the giant obsidian on the island that looks like Singapore with Excalibur, right? So with Excalibur, the key is you have to have Excalibur. Address an issue that caused the player to still get blinded even though the flash missile was being thrown back to a zealot. Addressed an issue that allows player to swap weapons while performing a heavy attack. Addressed an issue that caused archers to shoot arrows from strange angles. Addressed an issue that caused issues equipping weapons after blocking and dodging using the battering ram. Addressed an issue that caused NPCs to perform the same activity for longer than intended. Addressed an issue that caused guards to climb on burning roofs. Just why? Addressed an issue that allowed unconscious NPCs to be inflammable and... Oops. I kind of like the guards jumping on the flaming roofs. That's kind of cool. Addressed an issue that caused oil jars to explode when assassinations were performed nearby. Say what? Addressed an issue that allowed players to chain hidden blade attacks several times unintentionally. Okay, that's cool. World. Addressed various issues where the player could get stuck. Addressed an issue where that would cause players to get stuck or unable to move shelf inside St. Louis Church. Addressed various object placement issues around the world. Addressed an issue where a key would sometimes remain stuck in the air when destroying the hazard. In Jotunheim, addressed an issue when multiple settlement cosmetics to applied simultaneously for one slot. Addressed an issue that caused dead pigs to return to standing position after fast traveling. Mommy, pick me up, I'm scared. User interface HUD. Addressed various UI HUD issues. Addressed various localization issues. Addressed an issue that allowed the quick actions to be accessible during the beginning of the game. Stadia addressed an issue that prevented photo mode cursor to be visible. Addressed an issue that caused the HUD elements to disappear and the world map to be unavailable when talking Chaelwolf at night. System addressed an issue that prevented players from exiting the white room when the game was still downloading. I don't know what the white room is. Addressed an issue that caused issues switching from MNK to gamepad. Addressed an issue that prevented players from reaching 100% completion. Addressed an issue that caused the back button to have multiple functions in Japanese version of the game. Addressed an issue that caused the Way of the Berserker not to be available in offline mode after being redeemed. Addressed an issue that caused ULC content to not be available in the game after purchasing it from the store. PC addressed an issue prevented Disorder of Ancients, Take My Hand, Enemy of My Enemy, Overdesign 3 from unlocking. Addressed an issue with multi-monitor setups that could cause issues while in borderless mode. PC addressed an issue that caused MSI voice commands to stop working. PS4, PS5 addressed issues that caused share play option to no longer be available. PS4, PS5 addressed an issue that prevented players from uploading saves to the game cloud. Performance and stability. Improved performance and stability addressed an issue that caused freezes when performing a dodge while holding an oil jar inside Bergred's crypt. Okay, that's very specific. Subscribe to the Linus Wilson channel where we give you the secrets to crush Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I just would say the one, big thing that we don't see in this is we don't see anything about the giant fish that people need to get the swordfish trophy. I think that's the big outstanding one that is kind of really annoying the completion.